The crystal halls of Nexar Prime sparkled with light from 3 suns. Deep inside the massive building, 5 alien leaders sat around a table made of pure energy. They called themselves the Galactic Confederation, and they ruled over millions of worlds. Ji-won sat quietly in the corner of the archives room, pretending to read old books. She was human, but the aliens thought her kind was dead. They believed humans were just stories told by ancient people. She listened carefully as the 5 leaders talked. The first leader looked like a giant insect with silver wings. Her name was Admiral Velkari, and she spoke for the Thekmari people. The old stories say humans were dangerous, she said, clicking her claws on the table. But stories are just stories, nothing more. Next to her sat a being made of living crystal. Light moved through his body like water. He was Elder Morthex of the Veltar. Our oldest records mention humans, he said in a voice like breaking glass. They were said to be violent and short-lived. They destroyed their own world and died out long ago. A cloud of purple gas floated above the table. Inside the gas, small lights flashed like stars. This was Speaker Nethra of the Nethwin. My people remember songs about the human wars, the gas whispered. They fought everyone, even themselves. Good thing they are gone. The 4th leader had green scales and yellow eyes. General Crossoval of the Crossadai hit the table with his fist. Humans were weak, he growled. They lived only a few decades. How could such creatures threaten anyone? It makes no sense. The last leader had smooth blue skin and breathed through gills on her neck. Chancellor Morina of the Morgeth spoke softly. Perhaps we should not speak so easily about the dead. Even if they were just legends, they deserve respect. Ji-won felt sad hearing them talk about her people this way. But she could not speak up. If they knew she was human, they might hurt her or study her like a strange animal. Her friend Taman sat nearby, also pretending to read. He was human too, but like her, he had to hide what he really was. The alien leaders continued their meeting. They talked about trade routes and new colonies. They spoke about small wars between different worlds. It was boring talk about running a galaxy, but then Admiral Velkari brought up something new. Our border stations have detected strange signals, she said. Ships that do not match any known designs. They appear and disappear without warning. Elder Morthex's crystal body grew brighter. How many ships? He asked. We are not sure, Admiral Velkari replied. They move too fast for our sensors to track properly. But our best guess is 12 to 15 vessels. General Crossoval laughed. 15 ships? That is nothing. We have thousands of ships in our fleets. Why worry about so few? Speaker Nethra's gas cloud swirled faster. The ships use technology we do not understand, she said. They bend space in ways that should be impossible. Our scientists cannot explain how they work. Chancellor Morina looked worried. Where did these ships come from? The edge of the galaxy, Admiral Velkari answered. From the dark space beyond our borders, the place where no one lives. Ji-won felt her heart beat faster. Could it be? Could her people have finally come? She looked at Taman and saw the same hope in his eyes. But they had to stay quiet and listen. Elder Morthex stood up, his crystal body making music as he moved. We should send a battle group to investigate, he said. If these ships are a threat, we must know about it. I agree, General Crossoval said. The Crossdye fleet can handle a few unknown ships. We have the strongest weapons in the galaxy. Speaker Nethra's lights flashed red. Be careful, she warned. Unknown does not mean weak. Sometimes the greatest dangers come from places we do not expect. Chancellor Morina nodded. We should try to talk to them first. Maybe they are peaceful explorers like us. Admiral Velkari spread her silver wings. Very well. I will send 50 ships to make contact. If these strangers want to talk, we will listen. If they want to fight, we will be ready. The meeting continued for hours. The alien leaders talked about many things, but Ji-won could only think about the unknown ships. In her heart, she knew who they were. After 1,000 years, her people were coming home. When the meeting ended, Ji-won and Taman walked back to their small room in the archives building. They waited until they were alone before speaking. Did you hear? Taman whispered. Ships from the edge of space. Ships that use unknown technology. Ji-won nodded. It has to be them. It has to be our people. But how can we be sure? Taman asked. We have been alone for so long. Maybe we are just hoping too much. Ji-won walked to the window and looked up at the stars. The stories the aliens tell about humans are wrong, she said. They think we were primitive and violent. They think we destroyed ourselves and died out. But that is not what happened. What do you mean? Taman asked. Jiwon turned around and smiled. We did not die out, Taman. We left. We went to the stars because this galaxy became too small for us. We went to build something bigger and better. Taman looked confused. How do you know this? Because my grandmother told me stories, Jiwon said. Stories that her grandmother told her. Stories about the great journey to other galaxies. Stories about humans becoming something more than what they were. Outside their window, the 3 suns of Nexar Prime began to set. The crystal city glowed with its own light as night came. Somewhere in the darkness between the stars, unknown ships moved toward the galaxy's edge. Jiwon felt excited and scared at the same time. For years, she and Taman had been the only humans they knew about. They had lived quietly among the aliens, learning their ways and hiding their true nature. But now everything might change. What will happen when they arrive? Taman asked. Jiwon looked at her friend. I do not know, she said honestly. But I think the galaxy is about to learn that humans are not just old stories. We are real, and we are coming home. In the deep archives below them, ancient computers held records of the old times. Records that spoke of a warrior race that vanished into the dark between galaxies. Records that most aliens thought were just myths and legends. But Jiwon knew better. The myths were memories. The legends were history. And soon, very soon, the truth would be impossible to ignore. The unknown ships continued their journey through dark space, moving toward a galaxy that had forgotten them. Behind them, in the vast emptiness between stars, more ships waited. Many more ships. The galaxy thought humans were fables. They were about to learn how wrong they were. 3 months passed since the Galactic Confederation first detected the strange ships. Admiral Minji of the Thekmari fleet led 50 warships toward the galaxy's edge. She was confident and proud. The Thekmari had the strongest military in the galaxy. 50 ships should be more than enough to handle a few unknown vessels. Report, Admiral Minji said to her bridge crew. Her silver wings twitched with excitement. After years of peace, she finally had a chance for real action. We are approaching the detection zone, said her communications officer. Still no contact with the unknown ships. Keep scanning, Admiral Minji ordered. They cannot hide forever. But the human ships were not hiding. They were watching. Captain Kyung-soo stood on the bridge of his scout vessel, looking at the alien fleet through his ship's sensors. His ship was small compared to the massive Thekmari warships, but he was not worried. He had been through many battles in other galaxies. He knew what his ships could do. 12 ships, his tactical officer reported. All human design. All ready for action. And the aliens? Captain Kyung-soo asked. 50 ships. Primitive fusion weapons and basic shields. Their technology is about 800 years behind ours. Captain Kyung-soo nodded. It was what he expected. The reports from the advanced scouts had been clear. This galaxy had grown comfortable and slow. They had forgotten how to fight real wars. Open a channel to all ships, he said. It is time to make contact. Admiral Minji was studying her tactical display when her sensors officer called out. Admiral? 12 ships just appeared on our scanners. They came from nowhere. Impossible, Admiral Minji said. Our sensors can detect anything within 10 light hours. The ships are small, the officer reported. Much smaller than our cruisers. But their energy readings are strange. Very strange. Admiral Minji looked at her screen. 12 tiny dots faced her 50 massive warships. It looked like an easy fight. Open communications, she ordered. Let us see who these strangers are. The main screen flicked on and Admiral Minji saw something that shocked her. A creature that looked almost like the aliens in the old stories. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. Hair on top of the head. Skin without scales or crystal or gas. It was impossible, but it looked like a human. I am Captain Kyung-soo of the Earth Colonial Navy, the creature said in perfect galactic standard. You have entered human space. Please state your intentions. Admiral Minji laughed. Human space? Humans are extinct. They have been dead for 1,000 years. You cannot fool me with old stories. Captain Kyung-soo smiled. It was not a friendly smile. We are not dead, Admiral. We just went somewhere else for a while. Now we are back. Prove it, Admiral Minji said. If you are really human, show me human technology. As you wish, Captain Kyung-soo replied. The channel closed. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Admiral Minji's tactical officer screamed, Admiral! 3 of our ships just exploded. On the screen, 3 Thekmari cruisers were breaking apart. They had not been hit by any weapons Admiral Minji could see. They just suddenly tore themselves to pieces. How? She whispered. Her science officer looked up from his station, his insect eyes wide with terror. The human ships fired some kind of phase weapon. It went right through our shields like they were not there. It tore the ships apart from the inside. Admiral Minji felt fear for the first time in decades. All ships return fire. 50 Thekmari warships opened fire at once. Thousands of plasma bolts and fusion missiles flew toward the 12 human ships. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The weapons hit nothing. The human ships had vanished. Where did they go? Admiral Minji shouted. They are everywhere! Her sensor officer replied. They are moving faster than light without entering hyperspace. I do not understand how they are doing it. The human ships reappeared, but now they were scattered throughout the Thekmari fleet. 4 more alien cruisers exploded as the phase weapons struck again. Then 6 more. The humans were not just winning. They were hunting. Captain Kyung-soo watched his tactical display with calm eyes. His 12 ships moved through the alien fleet like wolves among sheep. The enemy weapons could not track them. The enemy shields could not stop them. It was not even a fair fight. Sir, his weapons officer said. Should we destroy them all? No, Captain Kyung-soo replied. Leave some alive. They need to go back and tell their leaders what they saw here. In 15 minutes, the battle was over. 40 Thekmari ships were destroyed. The remaining 10 were damaged and helpless. Admiral Minji sat in her command chair, staring at the wreckage of her proud fleet. The communication screen came on again. Captain Kyung-soo looked at her with pity in his eyes. Admiral, he said quietly, I want you to understand something. This was not a battle. This was a demonstration. You came here with 50 ships to intimidate us. We used 12 ships to show you how wrong you were. Admiral Minji found her voice. What do you want? Nothing from you, Captain Kyung-soo said. We want you to go back to your leaders. Tell them that humans are real. Tell them that we have returned. Tell them that this galaxy has our attention now. How many ships do you have? Admiral Minji asked. Captain Kyung-soo smiled again. More than you can imagine. This entire galaxy could not build enough ships to fight us. But we did not come here to fight. We came here to evaluate. Evaluate what? Whether the species in this galaxy are worth saving or whether they are a threat that needs to be removed. Admiral Minji felt cold fear in her hearts. And if you decide we are a threat? Captain Kyung-soo was quiet for a long moment. Then this galaxy will be cleansed and prepared for human colonization. But that decision has not been made yet. You still have time to prove you are worth keeping alive. The human ships vanished again, leaving the broken Thekmari fleet alone in space. Admiral Minji sat in silence, thinking about what she had to tell the Confederation Council. On Nexar Prime, Ji-won felt the vibrations in the archives building as emergency meetings began. News of the battle had reached the capital. She could hear aliens running through the halls, their voices filled with panic and confusion. Da-hyun, a young Veltar scientist, burst into the archives. Her crystal body was flashing with stress patterns. Ji-won, have you heard the news? Ji-won pretended to look surprised. What news? Humans, Da-hyun said. Real humans. They destroyed a Thekmari fleet. 40 ships gone in minutes. The technology they used is impossible. It should not exist. Ji-won felt her heart racing, but she kept her face calm. That is terrible news. Are you sure they were humans? Admiral Minji saw them herself. They looked exactly like the old pictures in the archives. 2 arms, 2 legs, hair on their heads. And they spoke Galactic Standard perfectly. Taemin walked over to join them. Maybe the Admiral was confused, he said. Battles can be very stressful. Da-hyun's crystal body flashed brighter. The recordings do not lie. I have seen them myself. These humans have technology that makes our best ships look like toys. Phase weapons that ignore shields. Ships that move faster than light without hyperspace. It is like they have become gods. Ji-won and Taemin looked at each other. In their hearts, they felt proud of their people. But they also felt worried. What would happen when the Confederation learned there were humans living among them? What will the Council do? Ji-won asked. I do not know, Da-hyun replied. Some want to surrender immediately. Others want to fight. But how do you fight gods? How do you win against people who can destroy 40 ships with 12? That night, Ji-won and Taemin sat in their room and talked quietly. Our people have become something amazing, Taemin said. The technology they showed today was beyond anything I imagined. Ji-won nodded. But they also seemed cold. Did you hear what Captain Kyung-soo said? About evaluating whether this galaxy is worth saving? Maybe they have to be cold, Taman said. Maybe when you become that powerful, you cannot afford to be soft. Jiwan looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, her people were deciding the fate of billions of aliens. She wondered if they would remember what it was like to be small and weak. She wondered if they would show mercy. The galaxy was about to change forever. The only question was whether that change would bring salvation or destruction. The emergency session of the Galactic Confederation Council was chaos. Representatives from all 5 species shouted at each other in the Great Crystal Hall. Some wanted war. Others wanted surrender. Fear filled the air like smoke. Chancellor Yuna of the Morgoth tried to bring order to the meeting. Please, everyone must calm down, she said. We need to think clearly about this situation. General Crossoval slammed his fist on the table. Think clearly? They destroyed 40 of our ships. We must strike back before they attack again. Elder Morthex's crystal body was dark with worry. Strike back with what? Our weapons could not even touch their ships. They moved through our fleet like we were standing still. Speaker Nethra's gas cloud swirled in angry patterns. This is what happens when we grow soft and comfortable. We forgot that the universe is dangerous. Admiral Velkari spread her wings in frustration. How could we prepare for this? Humans were supposed to be extinct, dead for 1,000 years. The best military minds in the galaxy planned for known threats, not legends coming to life. In the archives below, Jiwan listened to the chaos through the building's communication system. She felt torn between loyalty to her people and concern for the aliens who had become her neighbors. Many of them were good people who did not deserve to die. Su Yung, a Morgoth intelligence officer, entered the archives in a hurry. She was young and ambitious, always looking for information that could advance her career. Jiwan, Su Yung said breathlessly, I need access to the oldest human records. Everything we have about their history and technology. Jiwan pretended to think about it. Those records are very old and hard to read. Most of them are marked as mythology. Not anymore, Su Yung replied. After what happened to Admiral Minji's fleet, everything about humans is now classified as urgent intelligence. The Council wants to know everything we can learn about human capabilities. Jiwan led Su Yung to the deepest part of the archives. Ancient computers hummed quietly in the darkness. Data crystals held information that was thousands of years old. Most of it was incomplete or damaged, but some files were still readable. Here, Jiwan said, pointing to a section of storage units. These contain all our human records, but I must warn you, much of it sounds impossible. Su Yung activated the first data crystal. Images appeared in the air above them. Pictures of humans building massive structures in space, ships the size of moons, weapons that could destroy stars, cities that floated between galaxies. This cannot be real, Su Yung whispered. These pictures show technology that would take millions of years to develop. Jiwan read from the ancient text that appeared with the images. According to these records, humans did not develop slowly like other species. They grew in sudden jumps. Each generation was much more advanced than the one before. More images appeared. Humans building rings around stars to capture their energy. Humans moving entire planets to new locations. Humans creating artificial suns to light dark regions of space. Look at this, Su Yung said, pointing to another file. This talks about human colonies in other galaxies. Millions of worlds. Billions of ships. Populations that number in the hundreds of billions. Ji-won felt proud of her people, but also worried about what Su Yung was learning. The records say humans left this galaxy because it became too small for them. They went to find bigger challenges and greater opportunities. But why did they come back? Su Yung asked. Before Ji-won could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the building. Emergency lights flashed red. A voice echoed through the halls. All council members to the main chamber immediately. We have an incoming transmission. Ji-won and Su Yung ran to the council chamber with everyone else. The great screen at the front of the room was showing a view of space near Nexar Prime. A ship was approaching. It was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. The ship was enormous. It stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Its surface was smooth and white like polished bone. No engines were visible, but it moved through space as easily as a fish through water. As it came closer, smaller ships detached from it like children leaving their mother. The size readings must be wrong, Admiral Velkari said. Nothing that large could move so fast. The readings are correct, her sensor officer replied. The ship is approximately 500 kilometers long. Its mass is greater than most moons. Chancellor Yuna stood up slowly. Are they going to attack? No weapons detected, the sensor officer said. But with technology like that, they might not need weapons we can recognize. The massive ship stopped just outside Nexar Prime's atmosphere. A communication request came through on all frequencies at once. Chancellor Yuna accepted the call with shaking hands. The screen showed a human man in simple white clothing. He looked young, but his eyes seemed very old. Behind him, the walls of his ship were covered with flowing patterns of light. "I am Ambassador Seokjin of the Human Colonial Empire," he said in a calm, gentle voice. "I come with an offer of peaceful discussion." General Krossoval stepped forward. "Peaceful? After your ships destroyed our fleet?" Ambassador Seokjin looked sad. "That was an unfortunate misunderstanding. Your fleet approached our scouts in an aggressive formation. Our captains acted to defend themselves. 40 ships destroyed by 12, Elder Morthek said. You call that self-defense?" Captain Kyung-soo showed remarkable restraint, Ambassador Seokjin replied. He could have destroyed all 50 ships in the first minute of combat. Instead, he chose to leave survivors who could carry a message back to you. Speaker Nethra's gas cloud turned pale. "What message?" "That humans have returned to this galaxy. We have been watching you for some time. We are here to evaluate whether peaceful coexistence is possible." Chancellor Yuna found her voice. "And if you decide it is not possible?" Ambassador Seokjin was quiet for a moment. "Then this galaxy will be prepared for human colonization. But we hope that will not be necessary. We would prefer to find friends here rather than empty space." "What do you want from us?" Chancellor Yuna asked. "Nothing that you are not willing to give," Ambassador Seokjin said. "We want to understand your cultures. We want to see if you have wisdom that we lack. We want to know if you can grow beyond your current limitations." Admiral Velkari flew closer to the screen. "And if we refuse to be evaluated?" Ambassador Seokjin's expression did not change. "That would be your choice. But choices have consequences. We cannot allow this galaxy to become a threat to human interests." The communication ended, leaving the council in stunned silence. Outside, the massive human ship waited like a patient predator. In the archives, Ji-won felt her secret becoming harder to keep. She knew that eventually the council would demand to speak with the only humans they thought existed, her and Taemin. She also knew that her people's return would change everything. Soo-young was still reading through the ancient files. "Ji-won," she said quietly. "Some of these records suggest that humans never really left the galaxy completely. They suggest that some humans stayed behind, hidden among other species." Ji-won felt her heart stop. "That seems unlikely," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Maybe," Soo-young said. "But if it were true, those hidden humans would be incredibly valuable now. They could help us understand what their people really want." Ji-won nodded, but inside she was planning. She and Taemin would need to decide soon whether to reveal themselves or try to escape. Either choice was dangerous. Above them, the human ship waited in space like a sleeping giant. Inside that ship, Ambassador Seokjin was meeting with his advisors. They were discussing the future of 5 alien species and billions of lives. The evaluation had begun. The galaxy would never be the same. That night, Ji-won stood at her window looking up at the human ship. She could see it clearly against the stars, a reminder that her people had become something far beyond what they once were. She wondered if they were still human in any way that mattered. Tomorrow, everything would change. The council would demand answers. Ambassador Seokjin would begin his evaluation. And somewhere in the galaxy, more human ships were probably waiting to see what happened next. The age of legends was over. The age of truth had begun. The morning brought news that shook the galaxy. During the night, more human ships had appeared. Not dozens, but thousands. They hung in space around every major star system like silent guardians. Each ship was massive. Each ship was beautiful. Each ship was terrifying. Admiral Jiho stood on the bridge of her flagship, looking down at Nexar Prime through the great viewing window. Her ship was 10 kilometers long and filled with technology that could reshape entire worlds. Around her, 9,999 other ships waited for her orders. "Status report," Admiral Jiho said to her officers. "All systems ready," her tactical officer replied. "Evaluation protocols are active. Cultural analysis teams are standing by." "And the alien response?" "Fear, mostly," her communications officer said. "Some species are calling for immediate surrender. Others want to fight. A few are trying to run away." Admiral Jiho nodded. It was the same pattern they had seen in other galaxies. Young species always reacted the same way when they first encountered true galactic civilization. The smart ones adapted quickly. The others usually did not survive. "Begin the demonstration," she ordered. On Nexar Prime, Chancellor Yuna stood in the emergency command center, watching her screens with growing horror. The human ships were not just sitting in space anymore. They were working. "Report from the Kethra system," her aide said with a shaking voice. "The humans They have moved the dead planet Kethra 7. "What do you mean, moved it?" Chancellor Yuna asked. "They picked up the entire planet and moved it closer to the sun. Now it is warming up. Atmosphere is forming. In 6 hours, they turned a dead rock into a living world." More reports came in. In the Veltar home system, humans were building a ring of metal around the star. In Thekamari space, they were creating new moons for planets that had none. In Nethwin territory, they were turning gas clouds into solid worlds. "How are they doing this?" Chancellor Yuna whispered. Her science advisor, a brilliant Veltar named Dahyun, looked up from her instruments. "They are using technology we cannot understand. They seem to control matter at the atomic level. They can change rock into metal, gas into solid, empty space into breathable atmosphere." "In hours?" "In minutes," Dahyun replied. "What takes us centuries to build, they complete while we watch." In space above them, Ambassador Seokjin's ship opened its docking bays. Small vessels flew out and headed toward the planet's surface. On board each vessel was a human who wanted to learn about alien culture. Minho was one of these cultural specialists. He had studied alien societies for decades while traveling between galaxies. His job was to understand how different species thought and lived. His report would help determine whether these aliens were worth keeping alive. His ship landed in the main city of Nexar Prime. When he stepped out, hundreds of aliens had gathered to stare at him. He was the first human most of them had ever seen. He looked so ordinary compared to their expectations. "Greetings," Minho said in perfect galactic standard. "I am Minho, cultural liaison of the human colonial empire. I am here to learn about your people." A young Morgeth named Yunji pushed through the crowd. She was a student at the local university, studying ancient history. She had read every human legend she could find. "Are you really human?" she asked with wonder in her voice. Minho smiled. "I am, just like the humans in your old stories, but perhaps not as frightening as those stories suggested." "The stories say humans were warriors who conquered everything they touched," Yunji said. "Some humans were warriors," Minho agreed. "But we were also builders, scientists, artists, and dreamers. We became more than just fighters when we learned to reach for the stars." Chancellor Yuna arrived with a full security escort. She looked nervous but determined. "I am Chancellor Yuna of the Galactic Confederation. We need to talk." Minho bowed politely. "Of course, Chancellor. That is why I am here." They went to the government building where the Confederation Council waited. The 5 species leaders sat around their energy table trying to look calm and important. But Minho could see the fear in their eyes. "Your ships have been very busy," Chancellor Yuna said. "Moving planets, building star rings, creating worlds from nothing. Are you showing off or are you threatening us?" "Neither," Minho replied. "We are demonstrating our capabilities so you understand what we can offer you. These projects are gifts to show our peaceful intentions." General Krossoval leaned forward with anger in his yellow eyes. "Gifts? You did not ask permission to change our star systems. Did you ask the planets for permission when you built your colonies?" Minho asked gently. "Did you ask the stars for permission when you traveled between them? We are showing you what is possible when civilization reaches maturity." Elder Morthex's crystal body glowed with curiosity. "How did you achieve such technology?" "Our scientists say what you are doing should be impossible." "Nothing is impossible," Minho said. "Only difficult. Humans spent 1,000 years learning to work with the fundamental forces of the universe. We can manipulate matter, energy, space, and time because we understand how they work." Speaker Nethra's gas cloud swirled nervously. "And you want to share this knowledge with us?" "That depends," Minho said. "Sharing such power with the wrong people would be dangerous. We must first understand whether your species can handle such responsibility." "What do you mean?" Chancellor Yuna asked. Minho stood up and walked to the great window that looked out over the city. "Tell me, Chancellor, what would your people do if they had the power to move planets? Would they use it to help others? Or would they use it to conquer their enemies?" Chancellor Yuna was quiet for a long moment. "I do not know. she said honestly. That is why we are here, Minho said. To find out. Some species grow wise as they become powerful. Others become drunk with strength and destroy themselves. A few become threats that must be stopped before they spread their violence to other galaxies. Admiral Velkari clicked her claws nervously. And if you decide we are threats? Minho turned back to face the council. His expression was kind, but his words were cold. Then this galaxy will be cleansed and prepared for human colonization. We have seen it happen before. Species that cannot control their aggressive instincts eventually destroy everything around them. We do not allow that to happen anymore. In the archives below, Ji-won listened to the conversation through the building's communication system. She felt proud of how Minho spoke, but also worried about the aliens' reactions. Some of them were good people who deserved a chance, Ji-won, a voice said behind her. She turned to see Taemin approaching with Soo-young close behind. The council wants to see you both, Soo-young said. They have questions about human culture and history. You are the only humans they know about. Ji-won and Taemin looked at each other. The moment they had been dreading was here. Soon they would have to choose between maintaining their secret and helping the aliens understand their people. What kind of questions? Taemin asked. Everything, Soo-young replied. They want to know what humans value. What makes you angry? What makes you happy? They think if they can understand human nature, they can pass whatever test the colonial empire is giving them. Ji-won felt sad for the aliens. They did not understand that the test was not about saying the right words. It was about proving through actions that they could be trusted with real power. Above them, Minho continued his evaluation. He spoke with artists and scientists, soldiers and farmers, leaders and common citizens. He watched how they treated each other. He noted their prejudices and their kindnesses. Every conversation was recorded and analyzed. In space, Admiral Jiho received constant reports from cultural teams all across the galaxy. Some species showed promise, others revealed troubling attitudes. The evaluation was proceeding as planned. Admiral, her aide reported, we have discovered something interesting. Our intelligence teams have found evidence that some humans never left this galaxy. They have been living in hiding among the alien populations. Admiral Jiho raised an eyebrow. How many? We are not certain. Possibly hundreds. Maybe thousands. They have been observing alien development for generations. Interesting, Admiral Jiho said. Find them. I want to hear their reports. They will have valuable insights into whether these species can be trusted. On Nexar Prime, Ji-won felt a chill run down her spine. Somehow, she knew that her time of hiding was almost over. Soon she would have to face her own people and help them decide the fate of the galaxy. The evaluation continued. Across thousands of worlds, humans watched and judged. The aliens tried to prove they deserved to live. And in the deep archives of Nexar Prime, 2 hidden humans prepared to reveal themselves and change everything. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for judgment. The moment of truth arrived 3 weeks later. A new ship appeared in Nexar Prime's orbit, larger than all the others. It was pure white and shaped like a flower made of light. When it opened its communication channels, the voice that spoke carried the authority of the entire human empire. I am Representative Sung-hoon of the Human Colonial Empire, the voice said. I speak with the full authority of the human emperor. I have come to deliver our decision regarding this galaxy. In the council chamber, every alien leader sat in absolute silence. Chancellor Yuna felt her hearts beating so fast she thought they might explode. Beside her, the other species representatives waited to learn their fate. Representative Sung-hoon appeared on the main screen. He looked young, perhaps 30 years old, but his eyes held the wisdom of centuries. His simple white uniform bore no decorations, but everyone could feel the immense power he represented. For 3 weeks we have studied your civilizations, Representative Sung-hoon began. We have watched how you treat your own people and how you treat others. We have seen your art, your science, your dreams, and your fears. We have learned much. Elder Morthex's crystal body flickered nervously. And what have you decided? That you have potential, Representative Sung-hoon said. You are not perfect. You have wars and prejudices. You sometimes make cruel choices. But you also show kindness, curiosity, and the ability to grow. That is enough. Chancellor Yuna felt relief flood through her body. Then you will leave us in peace? Peace, yes, Representative Sung-hoon said. But not alone. We offer you a choice. 3 paths lie before your civilizations. The screen changed to show 3 images. The first showed alien worlds as they were now. The second showed the same worlds but with advanced human technology. The third showed alien ships flying alongside human vessels among distant stars. Path 1, Representative Sung Hoon explained. Independence. We will claim half of this galaxy for human expansion, but the other half remains yours. You can develop as you choose, but you will receive no help from us. This path preserves your freedom but limits your growth. Path 2, Protectorate status. You remain in control of your own worlds but under human guidance. We share some of our technology and knowledge. We help you advance faster than you could alone. In return, you accept human oversight and follow certain rules designed to prevent galactic wars. Path 3, Integration. Your species join the human colonial empire as equal members. You gain access to all human technology and knowledge. You can travel to other galaxies and help us explore the universe, but you must adopt human laws and human values. Your old ways of life would change completely. The council sat in stunned silence. None of them had expected to be given choices. General Crossoval found his voice first. What if we choose none of these paths? Representative Sung Hoon's expression did not change. Then Path 4 becomes necessary. Complete colonization. Your species would be relocated to suitable worlds in other galaxies while this galaxy is prepared for human settlement. Relocated? Admiral Velkari asked. You mean exiled? We mean saved, Representative Sung Hoon said. Species that cannot coexist with galactic civilization often destroy themselves within a few generations. We would give you new homes where you could develop without threatening others. Chancellor Yuna stood up slowly. How long do we have to decide? Take all the time you need, Representative Sung Hoon said. But understand that while you decide, we are continuing our expansion. Captain Jaewon will provide a demonstration of what Path 4 would involve. The screen changed to show a distant star system at the edge of the galaxy. 12 planets orbited an old red star. The system had been dead for millions of years. Captain Jaewon's ship appeared near the dead star. It was small compared to the other human vessels, only 2 kilometers long. But what it did next took everyone's breath away. The ship fired a single beam of brilliant blue light at the star. The ancient red giant began to change, growing brighter and younger. Its color shifted from red to yellow to white. Within minutes, it became a young, healthy star that would burn for billions of years. Then the ship turned its attention to the planets. One by one, they were transformed. Dead rocks became garden worlds with oceans and continents. Gas giants were reshaped into ring systems that sparkled like jewels. Asteroids were gathered together and forged into space habitats. In 2 hours, Captain Jaewon had turned a dead system into a paradise suitable for billions of colonists. This is what we can create, Representative Sung Hoon said as the demonstration ended. And if necessary, this is what we will create throughout this galaxy. The choice is yours. The communication ended, leaving the council in deep silence. In the archives below, Ji-won finally made her decision. She had heard enough. It was time to stop hiding. Taemin, she said to her friend, we need to go to the council. Are you sure? Taemin asked. Once we reveal ourselves, there will be no going back. There is already no going back, Ji-won replied. Our people are here. The galaxy is changing. We can hide and let events unfold without us, or we can try to help both sides understand each other. They walked to the council chamber together. When they arrived, the alien leaders were arguing loudly about which path to choose. Some wanted independence. Others preferred protection. A few demanded integration. Excuse me, Ji-won said loudly. The arguing stopped. Every alien head turned to look at her. My name is Ji-won, she said clearly, and I am human. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Taemin stepped forward beside her. I am Taemin, he said. I'm also human. We have been living among you for years, watching and learning. Chancellor Yuna stared at them in shock. That is impossible. Humans are giants with impossible technology. You are just ordinary people, Ji-won finished. Yes, that is what humans used to be. What we still are, underneath all the advancement. We grew powerful, but we did not stop being people. Representative Sung Hoon's image returned to the main screen. He looked at Ji-won and Taemin with surprise and interest. Well, he said, this is unexpected. Hidden observers from the old population. How long have you been here? My family has been here for 15 generations, Ji-won said. Taemin's for 12. We stayed behind when the Great Migration began. We wanted to watch over the species we left behind. And what is your assessment of them? Representative Sung Hoon asked. Jiwon looked around the chamber at the aliens who had become her friends and neighbors. They are good people, she said. Not perfect, but good. They have the capacity for growth and wisdom. They deserve a chance to prove themselves. Taemin nodded. We recommend Path 2 Protectorate status. Give them guidance, but let them keep their identity. Help them grow, but do not force them to become something they are not. Representative Sung Hoon considered this. And you, aliens of the Confederation? Do you accept the recommendation of your hidden neighbors? Chancellor Yuna looked at her fellow leaders. One by one they nodded. Fear and pride warred in their hearts, but wisdom won. We accept, Chancellor Yuna said. We choose to become a human protectorate. We will accept your guidance in exchange for your protection and assistance. Representative Sung Hoon smiled for the first time. Then welcome to the greater galactic community. Your journey to the stars truly begins now. In the days that followed, everything changed. Human advisors arrived on every major world. Advanced technology began flowing to alien scientists. Medical knowledge extended lifespans by centuries. Agricultural improvements ended hunger on 1,000 planets. But perhaps most importantly, young aliens like Yunji began training for journeys to other galaxies. They would see wonders beyond imagination and help humanity explore the infinite universe. Jiwon and Taemin became the first human ambassadors to the new protectorate. They helped both sides understand each other as the galaxy transformed. The age of legends was truly over. The age of partnership had begun. Months later, Jiwon stood on the observation deck of a human starship, looking out at the Andromeda galaxy growing larger in the viewscreen. Beside her, Yunji watched with wonder as they approached their new home. Do you think we made the right choice? Yunji asked. Jiwon smiled. Ask me in 100 years, she said. But I think your people and mine have a bright future among the stars. Behind them, in the galaxy they had left, billions of beings worked together to build something greater than any of them could achieve alone. The humans had returned not as conquerors, but as teachers, and the galaxy was finally ready to learn. The legends had become reality, and reality had become something even more wonderful than the legends ever suggested.